I'm visiting with Marie Osmond. Marie, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. It's good to be here, Ralph.
Marie, I heard recently that you went back into the studio after all these years, got with Sonny James, and did it all over again.
Yeah.
You want to tell me the story?
Well, we wanted to put Paper Roses on our Best Of album. It was the first Marie Osmond Best Of album, and I couldn't see putting it out without putting Paper Roses on it.
Which was your first number one record?
Right, I was about 12 and a half when I recorded it. And there were just legal problems, a lot of red tape, and we couldn't get the original cleared.
It was done in 1973.
I think it was actually
or 72, 18 years ago.
Right.
What kind of legal problems could you possibly have?
Well, I don't know all the details on it, but I know they worked quite extensively, and it was an impossible thing. And I was disappointed, and we were going to leave it off the album. And they said, well, maybe we can re-record it sometime, and put it on another Best Of album. And I thought, people don't want to hear it re-recorded. And I thought, well, wait a second. If we do something really nice for the fans, and if they know, the people who remember the original know that we put some effort into it. So I called up Sonny James and asked if he was still producing or what he was doing, if he would be interested in coming back. We rented the same facility, the same room to try to get the same sound.
You did? Was it still there?
Oh, yeah. Had the same engineer. He's retiring in about 5 months. And Sonny had saved the original string charts. We did everything live like we did back then. Everybody was in the same room. The musicians were having a ball. We had some of the same original musicians. We had the Jordanaires. They were all there. Millie has retired since, so she wasn't there. But the same Jordanaire sound. And we did everything all at once like we did before. And it was really great.
Have you played the two side by side?
Uh-huh.
How do they shape up?
I think that people will be, they'll be tickled that we got it as close as we did. Obviously, I sound a little different, but all in all, I'm very happy with it. I know that Curb, my label, that when I played it for the head of Curb, they were just laughing and jumping up and down, and they said, "This is great!" So it was fun.
Do you ever think about reissuing that as a single?
No, I don't think so, because I think the original is still, the best to use because of my age and the way I sound. But if you're going to put it on an album, I think...
You sound like you're going into retirement soon.
No! Are you kidding? I just started young.
What do you mean your age?
Well, because I was 12. I don't sound 12 anymore.
Well, okay, possibly. What did Sonny tell you when you called him? What was his reaction? Because, see, Sonny's been retired for some time.
Right.
He doesn't do anything anymore, except...
He was excited.
I guess live on the money he made years ago.
We explained what we were doing and why we were doing it, and we wanted to do something extra special instead of just going in and cutting it again. And he was kind of tickled, and that's when he said, "You're not going to believe this, but I saved all the original string charts. I've got them in my file." And he pulled all those out, and we used them. So
it's Paper Roses 18 years later.
That's right.
Great.
18 years, and my husband sent me a dozen roses, right? No. It was fun. We had a good time.
How did you meet Sonny James, who produced your first hit in the first place?
Ralph, a lot of things at that time were still kind of vague to me because I was so young. But I remember that I was the one in my family that always loved country music. And I guess I was about 10 or maybe I was about 11 years old. There's a man by the name of Mike Curb that worked with my brothers a lot, like on One Bad Apple and Puppy Love, and he was with the brothers during all those things. Well, my parents said, "Hey, Mike, we only have one girl, and she sings too." And I was like, "Oh, no." And they said, "We want you to hear her sing, if that's okay." So I went downstairs, and they played something. My brother played something on the piano, and I sang for him. And they said, "She loves country music. She really enjoys it, and her radio's always on it." And he thought, well, that could be fun. Let's take her in the studio, and we'll demo a little song on her. And as a matter of fact, I went in and demoed Coat of Many Colors, which was Dolly Parton's tune out at that time. And they sent that tape, Mike Curb sent that tape to Sonny James and said, this is the Osmond Brothers' sister. Would you be interested in producing her on a tune? And I guess Sonny, from hearing the tape, said, this will be a fun project, and I would really enjoy working with her. And so it was kind of coordinated through Mike Curb, who now I'm with Curb as a label.
Why did he pick Sonny? Do you know?
I really don't. I don't know, except Sonny had a unique sound in 73.
Yeah,
72.
he also is a perfectionist.
Yes, and he had a lot of good ideas as far as tunes. Paper Roses, I think, was one of his selection as a tune for me. So
I think it is rather odd growing up in the Osmond family that you were a country music fan, and I assume nobody else was.
no, I was really the only fan of country music. But my parents really encouraged us to study lots of music. I mean, I was raised on jazz music, classical music, big band music. I know more about big band music, I bet, than anybody my age. And, I grew up loving lots of music, but for some reason I always ended up focusing on country radio. I fell in love with Loretta Lynn and just a lot of various, people during that time that I loved their singing.
Marie, when they told Mike Curb that we had yet another Osmond that wanted to sing, did he look around the room to see if there were any more Osmonds coming out of the woodwork?
Oh, sure, my brother Jimmy, and I think his fascination though was the fact that I love country music. And then of course, I went in and did Paper Roses, and then later on, Donnie and I recorded a song called Leaving It All Up to You, which became Country Duo that year. Freaked Donnie out. He thought, what? I'm country? No. But, and then because of our recording together, evolved, Donnie and Marie shows by the time I was 15, and just a lot of things happened out of that. And the show, I mean, they said, I'm country and he's rock.
I'm a little bit country?
Yeah.
What has happened to Donnie? Donnie Osmond.
That's a good question. What? No. He's doing great. He has a new album coming out in a couple weeks. And, it's, like I said, it's still applicable. He loves rock and roll, and that's what his album is, definitely contemporary music.
Does he tour?
He did some touring last year, and I believe he's getting ready to do some touring for this new album.
Does he work Vegas?
No, he just more or less does, I guess, around 60 dates a year. I'd say about 60 dates a year, maybe 50 to 60.
Does he have a family?
He does. He has 3 children and one more on the way.
Oh.
His wife.
Still productive.
Well, his youngest is about 6 or 7, and then they just found out that she's going to have another baby. So they're all very excited about it.
Now, does he live back in Utah?
He lives in Los Angeles, but they come into Utah all the time and stay with us and with my parents, and they just kind of hang out at everybody's place. He's fun. He's a good guy.
Marie, I want to play our hit association game. Marie, I will name some of your hits, and you just tell me whatever comes into your mind.
Okay.
How about Meet Me in Montana?
Well, I found that tune, and I was with Capitol at the time, and Dan Sales was with EMI, and it was a very easy combination. But more than anything, I wanted to sing that song with Dan because I was a huge fan of his when he was part of England Dan, John Fort Coley.
Okay.
And he listened to the tune. We sat in the kitchen of Capitol Records. He played guitar, and we just wanted to see if we could sing it together. And it was so easy, it was scary. I guess because he had done, duet situations and I had done them previous. Our voices just kind of blend together, and we said, hey, let's do it. We had no idea that it would end up being a duo that year, vocal event or whatever they call it.
Vocal event of the year. There's No Stopping Your Heart.
That was the last tune we found right before the album was to come out, and it ended up being the title of the album. The first time I heard it, I loved it, and we went in and cut it. The album was done, and that ended up being our title cut and our first single.
Read My Lips.
I said it before the president.
Anything else you want to say about that?
I just love the tune. It just sounded, it was just a fun tune.
The tune you did with Paul Davis, You're Still New to Me.
Paul pitched that to me as a solo tune, and we were sitting around the table listening to it. And I looked at him and I said, Paul, that's a duet. I said, it's a good solo song, but I said, that's a bona fide duet. And I looked at him and I said, why don't you sing it with me? And he looked at me and he says, sure, Marie.
Yeah, he doesn't get too excited.
I love him. I just love him. He wrote Meet Me in Montana and You're Still New to Me. He's just unbelievable writer.
Is it I Only Want You or Wanted You?
It's I Only Wanted You.
Tell me about the song.
I Only Wanted You was a tune that really hit close to home for me, because, I mean, it's like she says, look, I didn't want the diamonds, I didn't want the car, I didn't want all the things you could give me money material-wise. I just wanted you, just spend some time with me. I think a lot of women feel that way. And, I like to record songs that I think women can relate with. Now, I mean, there are other women that say, no, I want the car and I want the jewels and I want... But, I mean, one of the things that I think women really want is just time to be with the person they love. And I love that song. It's one of my favorite tunes.
Everybody's Crazy About My Baby.
I have done that tune in my show forever. It's just a great in-person tune. And it's just a fun song. They play it a lot.
I'm visiting with Marie Osmond, and Marie, I'd like to get a little bit of your personal side. Tell me about your family. Who lives at Marie Osmond's house?
I'm a little busy, Ralph. My personal side, let's see. Well, my kids live at my house, and my family, my husband, and,
Okay, tell me about these people.
Well, let's see. My husband is probably one of the coolest people you'll ever meet. He's very proud of the things that I've done, and it's not always easy being married to a celebrity. And he says it's great because he gets great tables in restaurants, But we have a lot of fun, and I think one of the most important things, we laugh a lot. My kids are the greatest things on the planet. My son is 7 and very
That's
intelligent. Stephen. And then I have a little girl, Jessica, who is just, I call her Chocolate Eyes. She is just a spitfire. She's just great. And then my little baby is Rachel, and she's just the happiest thing. I swear, the kid just smiles all the time. I don't know how I got so lucky to have such great kids. And we just have a real fun family.
So the kids are 7...
2 3/4, and 1.
And about a year.
Uh-huh.
Now, is this family big on birthdays, I know you're big on Christmas.
Uh-huh. Christmas is our biggest holiday, just because that's the time of year where we just put everything to the side. And that's what we do. We love to, I went home for a couple days. My husband and I, we love to cook. We made a bunch of salsa that we're going to give out to certain friends for Christmas. We have lots of traditions. I make pajamas, or I have pajamas made. I design and pick the fabric, and we all match Christmas Eve. It's a time that my children gather toys that they don't need anymore, and we like to have them give them to other kids. And we always like to take goodie baskets and leave them on doorsteps for various families. And
does show business interfere with your life, with your personal life?
Well, I think that any kind of business, you have to make sure that your priorities stay straight, because you can get very consumed. But I think one of the things that we do is we work hard and we play hard. And my husband and I are going on a cruise in January, and it's important to do things together. It's important to spend time together.
Does he like show business?
Yeah, he's very proud of the things that I do, and I guess he likes it.
Does he like George Strait? And
yeah, he does.
George Jones?
He likes country music. He's learned to love country music more because of me. He likes, contemporary music and produces a lot of things. He produced Hank on the ABC Monday Night Football spots, and
Oh, he produced that.
he'd put the vocals down and did the tracks and did
Oh,
all
I
that.
wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, so he's he's into a similar business. So we're in a similar line of work, but
So-
we're not in the same thing.
so
So we
he-
understand each other's hours.
He's a record producer.
Uh-huh.
Marie, thank you. It's a pleasure to talk to you.
Nice to talk to you. You're always so cute, Ralph.
I know, and you never hesitate to remind me.